In this video, I want to talk to you about the Juki DX-4000 QVP Kokochi sewing machine. This is the top of the line Juki household sewing machine. The machine itself will give you all the bells and whistles. They're very practical, very useful, and are put on and placed on the machine for a reason. There's not a machine of this kind that's on the market that's Wi-Fi ready. I can pull up videos and tutorials right on the touch screen of the machine, and I can swipe back and forth just like you do on a cell phone, back and forth to the different portions of the machine. We're going to give you a little bit more in-depth tutorial on this particular machine just because it does so much more than anything out there. So sit back and enjoy the video. The DX-4000 has hundreds of sewing stitches, quilting stitches, practical stitches, buttonhole stitches, applique, you name it. It's got alphabet fonts built in. You're going to be able to do so much with this machine. The number one thing you'll notice is a lot bigger sewing area of the machine. Look at all the LED lights on this machine. There are 6 total to fully illuminate the entire sewing area that you're working with. And I have 12 inches from the needle to the inside of the sewing arm. I will have all the computer controls that you're used to and then some. I can pivot, raise and lower my presser foot. I can raise and lower the feed dogs. I have the needle up, needle down. I've got the built-in scissor. I can override the speed of the machine. I have the auto lock feature that ties the stitch off underneath for me. I have reverse. I do have the start stop button. It will come with the foot control as well. I can raise and lower my presser foot here to move the material where I want to. Then I also do have a manual control in the back. Things like threading or needle, I can pull that up. Show you basic things built onto the screen, how to thread the machine. So many other things out there that you can do with this. And the machine is fully upgradable. As time goes on, Juki will offer upgrades for the machine so you can go in yourself and install those. If I go to my main settings of my machine, I have a lot of information there that I can go in and look at the hard drive of the machine. The main thing is, of course, everybody's wanting to know is the sewing modes of the machine. We go to our sewing section of the machine. It gives us a lot of information. Notice how clear the screen is. There's a lot of information here, but laid out very well. I can start a lock stitch at the very beginning just by pushing and making that turn blue. When it gets to the end of my seam, when I hit my start stop button, it'll tie it off for me, and it ties it off underneath. I can set the machine when it's finished doing that to raise the presser foot. I can also set it to when I stop the machine to trim it. So literally all I have to do is just watch my fabric, and when I'm finished, it's going to do all this for me. So let's show you what I'm talking about. I've got it programmed right now to start. Tied it off right there. We're sewing down, and notice it's tracking the stitch as we go along. When I get to the end of the end of my seam or end of my garment, I'll hit my auto lock. It's going to tie that off for me. It's going to snip the thread, and it's going to raise the presser foot for me. I don't have to do anything else. There's so many other capabilities that you can do with the machine. So if I go in, for you quilters out there, you're really going to love this. 1/4-inch seam allowance has always been a difficult thing. Trying to figure out, the machine does it for you. All I have to do is hit 3. Now I'm at a 1/4-inch seam allowance. I do not have to change my presser foot, though it will come with a 1/4-inch foot with a guide and one without. Now my needle is set at a 1/4-inch seam. There are literally hundreds of stitches built into the machine. We don't have time to cover them all. Do check our website out, as we do have a lot more information there. But as I go to the sewing mode, up here I have all the different buttonholes. I got applique stitches. I can scroll through all the different configurations of the stitch, and I have a placard built onto the machine as well that shows me all the different patterns that is built in. So I can just pull up a stitch that I want. It's going to show me on screen exactly how it's going to look. I can change my width and my length right here, and this is the actual size of that particular stitch. As I go in and pull up a stitch and I change the stitch length settings or change the stitch width settings, the machine does show me on screen in actual size what that stitch is going to look like on my garment, so I can get a good idea before I start sewing so I don't have to try again. I can adjust my pressure settings right here, and I'm ready to start sewing. I can also go to the history, and it will show me the last 10 stitches, and it will save the last 10 stitches that I sewed. This is very handy when I'm going between projects. As time goes on, we don't have time to sit down hours a day, and so we may come back a day or two later and try to finish our project. The machine will store in the hard drive our last 10 stitches, so I can pull that right back up. And then I can also go to the Juki's website as they're updating videos. I'm not connected to our Wi-Fi here at this point, but it will show us that I can pull up different videos to watch on screen with the clear color screen. Feel free to check our website out and give us a call if you have questions about the DX-4000. There's so many things that it can do. We have a lot more information on our website. We'll be glad to talk with you and compare features. You can give us a list of features you would like to have on a machine, and we can definitely go through those with you.